I want to talk to you about is a culture of addiction and how we use recovery coaching to shift people that are in a culture of use, misuse, abuse and dependence, how our clients have gone mad and how we can help shift them into a culture of recovery, and we do that by using recovery coaching. So recovery coaching sits in the wellness paradigm, post-treatment or prior to treatment. So we can use coaching to motivate the client to access treatment, so when they do enter into treatment that they want to be there. And with our schools program, what we do is we create a culture of learning within the schools environment to educate children and people entering college about a culture of addiction and to make them aware of a culture of recovery. And the idea is that when the individual recognizes where they are on the descent with an addictive behavior, addiction's continued use in spite of negative consequences, they can then move to a culture of recovery. So basically avoiding treatment, and that then really reduces the cost of treatment and the impact that addiction has on society. And what we do with our schools program is we educate classrooms and pupils in peer recovery, and the idea is over the next 5 years, as we change the culture within the classroom each year, there'll be more and more knowledge of recovery capital within that environment, and you can create peer-to-peer support. So the children will be able to support themselves and to be able to talk about the challenges that they face and to find the support that they need. We've been doing this now here in South Africa for a while, and it's now evidence-based. So we put all of this around a culture of spirituality, and what that means is we use spiritual principles to assist our clients in changing. And so the spiritual principles are honesty, open-mindedness, willingness, faith, trust, acceptance, courage, forgiveness, gratitude, anonymity. And because we know with the success of 12-step programs, spiritual principles really assist people in moving forward. So we've taken those spiritual principles and used them as part of our work, because the role of the professional recovery coach sits here really in the center of crisis, chaos and conflict, and they show up in a professional way which really sits in the center here. And so our training equips the individual to be able to work in this environment. So they can go out into schools programs, into collegial programs, they can work in treatment centers, or they can work post-treatment, or they can work in just a normal corporate workspace. So that's what our training does. Our training is split into 3 modules. I'll just quickly draw the 3 modules there that can be delivered in a three modules or in a 5-day intensive, and the idea is the conversation, so how to have the coaching conversation. The coaching conversation isn't a pathology, it sits in the wellness paradigm. So how can I have a conversation with my clients that sits in this environment? The continuum, am I able to track my clients' change and to refer if necessary, and then the systemic impact that that has when that individual changes. So we talk about the conversation, the continuum and the system. And the training really comes together and supports everyone, and we have a global organization and a classroom, a learning environment that really supports coaches in addressing this. This mustn't be confused with peer recovery. Peer recovery is more around people supporting each other around and telling people what the resources are around in their environment in a culture of recovery. So how can I get my client to go to meetings or to whatever resources are available in that community? But the role of the professional recovery coach is much more professional in the sense and ethical, that it works in the outside world or on the inside world. So we've got coaches working with as part of a therapeutic team, so you'll have a professional recovery coach there that will be part of case management, working with social workers, doctors, psychologists and psychiatrists to improve treatment outcomes for the individual. Yeah. And that's the role of an internal recovery coach, to support the patient in taking responsibility for their recovery and their relationships with the various role players. And the external recovery coach works with the family members, and to support the family members and the individual in resourcing, so that the whole system can change. Because what you want is for the family members that have been deeply impacted by the behavior, for them to start to change their behavior and to take responsibility for their own recovery. And that's what we do. Thank you so much for watching.